Welcome to my Site Code Diaries, your ultimate guide to digital experience excellence. This video is from the series C# tutorial, and today's topic is method overriding and overloading. Hello, I am Chitendra Ghanekar, your host. What's inside this video? What we are going to cover in this video? First, we will see what is method overloading and then method overriding. Then we will try to find out what is the difference between method overloading and the overriding. And at the end, we will see what are the different interview questions which are related to method overriding and method overloading. Before moving ahead in the video, let me request you to spend few seconds to click on like button and share this link with others. If you have not subscribed to the channel, then do click on the subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get a update on the latest updated video. So let's start today's topic. So let's see what is method overloading. It is a type of polymorphism where multiple methods can have the same name with different parameters. What is polymorphism? That we have covered in our OOPS video. So if you have not watched that video, please check out that video. It must be in this playlist and I will try to give it at the top also in the I button. So it's a type of polymorphism where one thing can have a multiple forms. So where a multiple methods can have the same name with a different parameter. So you have a multiple method, but their names are same. Okay, their names are same, but the parameters which is passed to it can be a different. So what are the different ways of method overload? First is the number of parameters. You can vary the number of parameters with the method which is having the same name. Then the data type of the parameters. So you can have a different data types for in the passing parameters. And the third one is that the order of the parameters. You can switch the order of the parameters. So let's take an example. So this is the class which I have created and we are overloading add method. So if you talk about the number of parameters, so here if you see, this is the original method where you have two variables, integer a and b, and it is returning a plus b add method. Whereas this is the number of parameters. So here you have three methods, the three parameters, integer a, integer b, integer c, and it is returning the addition of the three. So first method we are having two parameters, and the second method is having three parameters. So number of parameters are varying. Then data type. So if you see here in this method, third method here, add, the name is same, but it's the parameter data type. So first integer a, in first method it is an integer a, whereas second, the third method you will see here double a. So the type of a parameter is different. Okay, so data type is the different. Then third is the order of the parameter. So now if you see this last method, if you see it is doing the same thing what is doing this method. Okay, third method what it is doing, but the order of the parameter. So here we are taking the integer value first and then double value, whereas here we are taking a double value first and integer value second. So this is the sample example of a method overloading. So what is method overloading? It is a type of a polymorphism where multiple methods can have the same name with a different parameters. And how we can do that? With three ways we can do it. We can have the number of parameters different, we can have a data type different, we can have order of the parameters different. Please note, this is an important note, that method overloading is not associated with the return types. So you do not have the same, you cannot override with the return type. Okay, overload methods may have the same or a different return types. You can have a same or different return types. Okay, so if you see here we are returning integer here, whereas here in this case we are returning the double. Okay, but they must have a different parameter. So their parameters should be different, and that should follow the first rule, which first three rules which we have mentioned, right? The number of parameters can be different, data type of the parameters can be different, and the order of the parameters can be different. So this is method overloading. Now let's see method overriding. So what is method overriding? It is a type of a polymorphism where you override the functionality of a base class method to create the same name method with the same signature in a derived class. So you have a same signature, same name method which in your parent class, and that you are overriding in the derived class. So logic, whatever you are writing in the parent class and the whatever you are writing in the child class are different, and both are having the same signature. And the signature, what I mean by signature, it's a name, parameters, return type, everything is same. So what are the keywords used? Virtual. This modifier or a keyword used within the base class method. It is used to modify a method in the base class for a overridden that particular method in the derived class. So if you want to override the method, you have to mention that method as a virtual method. Override. This modifier or a keyword used with the derived class method. It is used to modify a virtual or abstract method into the derived class which is present in the base class. So base class you are written the virtual, whereas your child class you have to, if you are overriding that logic, then you have to use a keyword override. Base. This is used to access the members of the base class of the derived class. It is basically used to access constructor and methods or a function of the base class. So you have a same method name both the places, your parent and the child, but you want to access the base method, then you have to use the base keyword. So this is an example where I have a shape class, base class, where I have written the virtual method calculate area. So I have used a keyword here virtual, which is doing nothing here. Okay, it is returning 0. Whereas I have a rectangle class which is inheriting shape. Okay, so it has a width and height, and then you are overriding the calculate area. So it is getting calculated. Okay, so this is how the method overriding works. Now let's see a difference between method overloading and overriding. If we talk about the definition, we have already seen the definition. Overloading is more than one method, same name, but a different signature or the parameters. Whereas overriding is method in the derived class with the same signature as method in the base class. If we talk about polymorphism, overloading is called as a compile time polymorphism. At the compile time only you can understand the overloading. Whereas the overriding is a runtime polymorphism. So at the runtime it decides which method to be called. Signature and parameters. For overloading, the same method name but with a different signature and or the parameters. Whereas overriding, the same method name as well as the signature or the parameter. So it has the same name and signature. Inheritance, overloading doesn't need any inheritance. Overriding, you need an inheritance level. So overloading is done within the single class, whereas overriding is done one parent class and other child classes. If we talk about the access modifier can be anything for a method overloading, but overriding it has to be public one. Overloading is also called as the early binding, whereas the overriding is called as a late binding. So this is the difference between method overloading versus method overriding. Now let's see few of the interview questions which are related to method overriding and method overloading. First is what are the requirements for the method overriding in C#? If you want to do a method overriding in C#, what are the things which is required? First thing, the method in the subclass must have the same signature, name, return type and parameter as the method in the superclass. So we have seen method overriding, you have a same signature of the method. And the second is the method in the superclass must be marked with a virtual keyword. That is also we have seen. So you need to mark the method as a virtual keyword to be overridden in the in the derived class. The method in the subclass must be marked as an override keyword. So when you want to override that method, you have to write in the override keyword in the derived class. So what are the requirements of the method overriding in C#? So these are the two requirements. The second question, how does method overriding achieve polymorphism in C#? Method overriding allows a subclass to provide a specific implementation of a method which enables the polymorphic behavior. So in overriding, you can have a different logic at the base class and different logic at the derived class, but both the name is same. So from the outside, it will feel like that is a only one method, but the logic are different. So it is a multiple form. So it is a polymorphic behavior. This means that the same method call can produce a different result depending on the actual type of the project. The way you are calling it, the way you are passing it, the values, though the logic can be different and the result can be different. So this is how the method overriding achieved by polymorphism in C#. Next question, explain the virtual and override keywords in C#. The virtual keyword is used in the superclass to indicate that a method can be overridden by the subclass. This we have already seen, that virtual keyword is required to write in the your base class so that you can override that in the your inherited class, I mean the derived class. The override keyword is used in the subclass to indicate that a method is overriding a virtual method in the superclass. So both are like virtual keyword you use in the base, whereas override you use in the derived classes. So this is how the virtual and override keyword works in C#. The next is, what are the rules for method overloading in C#? So how we can do the method overloading in C#? So method must have the same name but different parameter list, number or type parameters, and also the order can be different. Okay, so method must have the same name but a different parameter list. Overload methods can have a different return types. Okay, it doesn't depend on return type, but overload methods can have the different return type. So this is how we can overload the in C#. Can method overloading be achieved by changing the return type only? No. So as we seen that return type, it is not depend on return type. So no, you cannot do that. Method overloading can be achieved solely by changing the return type. It is not possible. So overload methods must differ their parameter list. So it's all depend upon the parameters, not on the return type. Okay, we have completed today's topic. Method overriding and method overloading are very important concept of object-oriented programming. It implements the polymorphism concept of object-oriented programming. I hope that you like the today's content. If so, then please click on the like button to share this with your friends and family. If you are new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to get a latest update of our channel. Thank you. Thanks for watching.